We're going to take a comfortable posture and we're going to take 3 deep breaths, releasing tension with each out breath. Scan your posture for any points of tension and release them with the out breath. Then let your breath take its natural rhythm without controlling it, without modifying it. Let your body regulate naturally while you keep relaxing with the out breath. And let's count 21 breaths, remembering the main points of the posture and the mind by cultivating relaxation, stability, and vividness. If we find our mind is very agitated, remember the antidote, which is relaxation. If we feel drowsy or laxity, lack of clarity, remember the antidote is to focus more sharply and awake. Activate your mind. So find that balance according to your needs. And when you reach 21 breaths, you can decide to start another cycle, or if you find your mind is present and focused, you can just relax for a few more minutes, flowing in the continuity of mindfulness. If you find your mind getting distracted, just gently release the grasping to those thoughts, plans, memories, and gently bring back your attention to the tactile sensations of the breath in your body or in the area of the abdomen or the nostrils. Continue cultivating relaxation, stability, and clarity. If you notice any other perceptions arising, let them arise and pass without grasping and without distraction. And now that our mind and our body are more relaxed, more clear, more present, more stable, let's generate a meaningful motivation to do this practice for our benefit, but also for the benefit of all beings. Now, let's reflect on the Buddha's teaching on the 3 characteristics, using the power of imagination and analysis of our minds. Let's reflect and contemplate the 3 characteristics of all things in cyclic existence. This will help us to better understand our present situation and our potential. So let's begin by reflecting on the fact that all people and all things in cyclic existence referring to also by the name of samsara, conditioned existence, where we find recurrent problems, obstacles, dissatisfactions in life. All people and things in this cyclic existence or conditioned existence have 3 characteristics. The first one is transience. By looking at your life, reflect. Everything in our world, people, objects, reputation, success, everything is transient, unchangeable by its very nature. So just take a moment to accept this reality and reflect on how our refusal to accept this reality causes us pain. When we try to make things permanent or unchangeable, we're setting the causes for our own suffering. But when we accept this mark of existence, this characteristic of things, people, situations, then the pain, the suffering, the dissatisfaction is reduced. In your heart, try to accept the transient nature of all things. Once you reach that conclusion, rest for a moment in that understanding, letting it permeate your being. If your mind gets distracted during this analytical meditation, remember to bring it back to your breath and bring up to mind events, memories, situations that help you reflect on this characteristic of existence, this characteristic of transience. And now let's reflect on the second of these characteristics of all things, everything, including our bodies, our minds, people, situations. Everything has these three characteristics as long as they are within the cyclic existence condition. And so the second mark or characteristic of existence is that there are unsatisfactory conditions. This means that not everything is 100% wonderful in our lives. We continuously experience unsatisfactory situations of pain and suffering, both physical and mental. So, as one of the factors or ways in which we experience dissatisfaction, just become aware of this, how our bodies, just by the fact that they are aging and the multiple possibilities to encounter illness and painful experiences, we experience suffering just by seeing things changing in our lives, things we wanted to keep in the same way but they changed. We experience mental suffering. And this dissatisfaction is almost permeating all of our experiences in one way or another, as long as we live with ignorance, attachment, and aversion. Reflect also in the fact that happy situations that are unsatisfactory, because they are actually no more than a temporary alleviation of suffering, also cannot be called 100% happy. We know that some pleasure arises from experiences, from our interactions, the things we achieve or the things we buy or get. But they provide us with temporary pleasure or satisfaction, and very soon they stop giving us that emotion of happy feelings. And we go back to our habitual sense of dissatisfaction or suffering. In addition, these things change and disappear. So even if you get all the things that provide you with pleasure and you try to accumulate many of these, eventually they will change and disappear. And this causes us dissatisfaction because we know it from the beginning. And also reflect on the unsatisfactory situation of having a body that ages, gets sick, and dies, and a mind that is under the control of disturbing attitudes, negative emotions, and karma. This is not to be pessimistic, it's just to be realistic and recognize how we experience dissatisfaction, pain, suffering for a great part of our lives. So reflect on transient and unsatisfactory conditions, and then remember your potential. Make a determination to let go of the clinging and ignorance that keep you bound to unsatisfactory situations. Recognize that the ignorance of accepting things as they are, impermanent, transient, unable to give you lasting happiness, and generating attachment towards these things, clinging, is what creates our suffering. So reflect on this and rest for a moment when you get to that conclusion, to that determination to let go of clinging and ignorance. Let that understanding permeate your mind. Now let's reflect on the third of these characteristics, these three marks of existence. And this is called selflessness. Reflect that all these seemingly solid and independent things, ourselves and other phenomena, other people, everything, are without inherent findable existence. When we try to find where they are located, they just vanish. If we reflect that the self is not in the body, we cannot find it, or in one part of the body, or in its totality. We cannot find the self on the mind, or in any mental event. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means it doesn't have inherent independent existence apart from the parts we label as the self. And this happens with every phenomena around us, everything we perceive. When we look for its inherent quality, we find that everything is a matrix of phenomena that are depending on causes and conditions, changing all the time. There's not one part that we can say this is inherently existent, permanent, separate from everything else. Understanding this counteracts ignorance, thus eliminating the root cause of all the unsatisfactory experiences of cyclic existence. So take a moment to reflect on this selflessness of all phenomena and rest in this understanding. Now, imagine that all the world, all the phenomenal world around you dissolves into light and dissolves into your body. As a dream, just vanishes and dissolves. Now imagine that your body dissolves into space and rest for a moment in the awareness that is present. Just rest. And let's finish this meditation by doing a dedication. Imagining we dedicate all this potential of doing this practice, of reflecting on this topic, so that we can gain greater wisdom, that we can live without ignorance, with the wisdom that understands how reality exists with these three characteristics, that we accept this and stop relating with things, people, ideas, situations with grasping, attachment, aversion, anger, and mental afflictions. That we can do this in order to be free, completely free of suffering, and that we can achieve enlightenment or awaken to our true nature, and to do this also for the benefit of all beings. And with this in mind, start moving your body and come back and stretch and relax.